That's my trouble, actually. I think you can't be selective with truth and honesty. So I always go that bit further than my generation does and get myself into trouble.
Despite the huge success of a sellout tour, it's George's life outside of music that makes the headlines, with the tabloids focusing on his sex life and the quality of his driving. He deals with such situations directly and with unswerving honesty. He's also, of course, not afraid of political debate. He was one of the first musicians to openly condemn the idea of war in Iraq with Shoot the Dog. In a sense, it's easy to take a swipe at George. Even he recognises that he could say a little less, but isn't it refreshing to hear a star who'll honestly answer a question with a view and an opinion, and not worry about the PR implications?
Yeah, that's my problem. That in itself creates more PR these days, because everyone for the past 20 years has been giving, pat answers to pat questions. And the idea, because there's this battle going on between left and right and, the past and the future, and some people trying to kick liberalism out of the door, some of the ideas that I grew up with as being completely ordinary and, if you were an intelligent person, it shouldn't be a question, are now questions again. And the fact that I'm a gay man and the fact that politically I'm not afraid to risk my career in terms of speaking my mind, that makes me, although I would have been very commonplace 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that makes me stand out like a sore thumb.
There's very few people in your field who will actively stand up and say what they believe.
Well, say anything. Just say anything without meaning to cause, I'm not looking for controversy, and for God's sake, if people actually look at most of the times I've talked about my sexuality, it's been shockingly enough to have to defend it. I feel a great responsibility not to be a negative to gay people, to young gay people especially, so I try to be absolutely unapologetic and real about my answers. That's really seen as an antagonistic move in the world today. It really looks like you're being you're not playing the game. You're rocking the status quo where the kind of mainstream is all about nothing mattering.
See, I don't.
Except I'm not sure you have anything to defend.
Exactly.
Your fans, whoever they are, love you, irrespective.
See, my point is a lot of young gay people are not necessarily George Michael fans, and I do feel a responsibility to them, because the newspapers are allowed in a way that radio and television are not. Because the newspapers have been allowed to pretend it's 1965 for the last 40 years. That means that there's terrible language being used about gay life, and I am the gateway to that. So I feel, just by my honesty, I seem to bring issues into the mainstream, and maybe because I'm not enough of a kind of screaming queen for it not to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? The fact that women were attracted to me, and the fact that some women are still attracted to me regardless of the fact they know that I'm gay, that all seems to be red rag to the press ball. And I feel very much that I have to defend those positions, or at least nonsense the positions that the right take, because otherwise these kids that are literally, early teens, kids that absorb all this stuff, they don't hear an opposing view, because God knows no one's been sticking up for me except for me. I'm just disappointed in general. I've really kind of decided that politically I'm the wrong person for the job in terms of trying to help anybody along, because journalists love to hate me. So I think my politics they'll kind of remain within my work, because if you believe in helping people out, you have to be the right messenger. You have to be, and I'm outside of the normal celebrity now, so I don't necessarily know that I'm any good for spreading the word, even if the word is really simple and it's something that you think is perfectly morally right,
The thing that I find remarkable is that you have the courage to take it on, even though these issues, whether they're political or sexual politics, even though these things don't necessarily give you any comfort with the way they play out in the world, but you clearly feel you have to take it on as opposed to not taking it on.
It's almost like I'm the same about my relationship with the media as I am with my music. I don't want it to be, when you look back on my career, I don't want it musically or in terms of ethics to be a bumpy ride. I want to be consistent. You know, I want to be able to say that I stood up for myself as an individual and as a gay man and as a musician, say the way I did against Sony or whatever. I want these things to be remembered consistently, and I think you can't be, that's my trouble actually, I think you can't be selective with, you know, truth and honesty. So I always go that bit further than my generation does and get myself into trouble. But also that's my own dysfunction, you know. That's the whole, you know, if there's a hard way to do it the hard way. That's me as well.
But no regrets?
Oh no, God no. I can live with my own mistakes. I can live with what I brought on myself. I can't live with things that have been brought upon me for no good reason by others.